quarantine time, day one. We just arrived back here in Taiwan again, and what a long 16-hour that was. But we are happy to be back here. Let me just briefly share with you a little bit of Taiwan's new rules with these new regulations and policies that they put in place for people coming into their country. More specifically, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, people that are citizens or that hold residency in Taiwan are allowed to come back. I believe they also have a few other exceptions, such as student visas and other things. I'm not very well versed on that, but the way that it works now, in order for us to come back to Taiwan from the States, you have to fill up a bunch of forms. You have to go to this government URL where you will input a ton of information, asking obviously basic and very important question as though do you have any symptoms? Have you been somewhere else? Have you been traveling to other countries that perhaps have been affected by the pandemic? So we filled up all those forms. After you fill everything, they will ask you and validate those forms at the airline counter. When we got there, unfortunately, there was a new version of that form, and we have to sort of kind of update what we have already done online. So you have to print them out, obviously, and bring them with you to present it to them at the counter. Then after that, you get here to Taiwan, and as you're exiting the plane, obviously throughout the flight, they keep reminding you that there are specific rules and new regulations that you have to fill up before you come in. Oh, very important before I forget, and that is that you have to quarantine for 14 days. And so if you do not have a place where you're going to quarantine here in Taiwan, then the government will assign you a specific location. I don't know exactly where, but from what I have heard, it is some hotels or hostess places where they will take you, and they will provide you with some basic essentials that you will need during the period of your quarantine. But for us, since we were we have been here before for quite some time, we already knew a few people. My wife's side of the family still lives here. We managed to find a place for us to quarantine, and which is part of where I filmed this intro of this video. So once you get here, you go through security, you go through immigration, and as you're exiting immigration, then you get into this queue, a line, and that line is for, once again, validating your boarding tickets and that you have all the information. At some point, they also take your temperature. The other very critical part of the regulations that they have here in the quarantine is that you have to have a Taiwanese number for their contact tracing part of their requirement here in Taiwan and part of the quarantine, meaning that the local health officials here in Taiwan will use that Taiwan number to not only communicate with you, but also to track your movement. Obviously, that's what tracing is. Overall, it's been okay. Again, this is just day one, and we'll see how the following 13 more days goes. Okay, guys, I'll take you along the journey for these 14 days quarantine here, and continue to make some short videos for you guys. So thanks so much for coming along. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you don't mind, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and comment below if you have any questions. Until I see you guys again on day 2, take care. Sam from Taiwan out.